Your dog may forget the small things, the spilled water bowl, the toy you hid last week, but certain moments carve themselves so deeply into their heart, they'll never fade. Science shows dogs carry what researchers call episodic-like memories, snapshots of powerful emotion that stay for life. These are the acts of love that shape how your dog remembers you even when their muzzle turns silver with age. And here's the part most owners never realize: every gesture, every ritual becomes a thread in a story your dog is quietly writing about you. Some threads fray and disappear, but others, they stay forever. So let's begin with the very first act, one that happens closer to your face than you ever imagined. Have you ever noticed the way your dog leans in when your hand drifts near their cheek? Not the top of the head, pat. Not the rough scratch behind the ear. Those are fine, but ordinary. I'm talking about the secret patch right between the eye and the ear, where soft fur blends into warm skin. To you, it's just another spot. To your dog, it's like finding the doorway back to their mother's heartbeat. Long before your pup ever knew you, this was the place a mother dog would obsessively groom her puppies. Each gentle stroke told them, "You are safe. You are mine. The world cannot hurt you here." When you touch this same spot with slow circular movements, you're not just petting them. You're waking up an ancient memory etched into their nervous system. Their body floods with oxytocin, the chemical of love and loyalty, rewiring their stress into calm. Here's the part most owners never discover: dogs carry scent glands in that very place. A soft touch releases pheromones that mark you as family. It's like writing your name inside their emotional diary, a page that will never be erased. Every time you find this hidden gateway, the bond doesn't just stay. It grows stronger, weaving you deeper into their story. And yet, here's the twist. Only a handful of dog parents ever stumble on this secret. Most keep patting the wrong places, missing the chance to unlock a love their dog has been quietly waiting for. So if a simple touch can carve forever into your dog's memory, what about the words you speak? The truth is, your dog hears far more than you think. And the next act of love might shock you. Number 2. The daily words that shape their world. Think about this: your dog doesn't replay every biscuit you've given them or every toy you've bought. What lingers in their heart are the sounds you wrap them in every single day. Words simple and ordinary to you are thunderstorms of meaning to them. A soft "good boy," a quiet "you're home," even the casual way you sigh their name. It's like painting colors on the canvas of their world. Scientists have found something extraordinary. When dogs live in homes filled with human voices, their brains literally grow richer. The part of the brain that processes speech begins carving out new pathways like roots spreading through fertile soil. But silence. Silence dries those roots out. Dogs raised in quiet homes begin to drift into what experts call selective mutism. They stop trying, stop speaking back, stop believing communication matters. Imagine your best friend giving up on ever being heard. That's what silence feels like to them. And here's the danger. We often slip into baby talk, that high squeaky tone we think is cute. But to a dog, it echoes like the cry of a distressed puppy. It doesn't soothe, it unsettles. What they crave instead is your real voice. The same one you'd use with a trusted friend, steady and warm, carrying the rhythm of safety. Tell them about your day. Complain about the traffic. Share the weather while you both stare out the window. They don't need the words to understand, they need the heartbeat hidden inside them. Because here's the truth, dogs can recognize when you're talking to them and when you're talking about them. And the difference can shape how connected or how alone they feel. But what about the moments before words, before breakfast, before the world even wakes? There's a ritual at dawn your dog never forgets. And if you ignore it, the damage lingers all day. Number 3. The morning ritual between 5 and 7 a.m. Before the coffee brews, before the sun fully stretches its arms across the sky, your dog is already awake, watching, waiting. Between 5 and 7 in the morning, something ancient stirs inside them. In the wild, this was the hour of survival, a silent head count, a check to make sure the pack was still alive after the long, vulnerable night. And even in your living room with 4 walls and a locked door, your dog still carries that instinct like a secret drumbeat. Have you noticed the way they pad quietly to your bedside? The gentle nudge of a nose, the soft thump of a tail against the floor, the silent stare as you pretend to still be asleep. This is not impatience. This is their version of roll call. They need to know, are you still here? Are we still together? Did my world survive the night? Here's the part that almost no one realizes. The way you respond in those first 10 seconds can shape their entire day. A mumbled morning buddy, a slow blink, a hand stretching lazily over the sheets that's enough to tell them, yes, we're intact. You're safe. And when they get that acknowledgement, their body eases, their appetite rises, their play multiplies. Their whole rhythm settles into harmony. But when you ignore them, when you roll over, shut your eyes and pretend they don't exist, their heart doesn't just sink for the moment. The ritual itself begins to disappear. Over days, the pathway that drives this check-in weakens until they stop asking altogether. Imagine a dog who once greeted the dawn with hope, now lying quietly in a corner, because they've learned connection won't come. So, tomorrow morning, remember this. Your first word, your first glance, might just be the compass that guides your dog's entire day. And if morning rituals can rewrite their happiness, what about the signals you miss in broad daylight? The warnings etched into every flick of their tail. That's where the next act of love begins. Number 4. The hidden signal. Most owners miss every dog has a breaking point, but here's the heartbreaking truth. Most of us step right past it without even noticing. You think you're showing love, your hand stroking down their back fingers, scratching deeper, chasing that wagging tail. But love has a line, and dogs draw it in whispers, not shouts. Their body speaks a secret language that too many owners never learn to hear. Watch closely, the tail flicks sharp, like a match being struck. The skin ripples as if tiny waves are moving under their fur. Ears pivot back, weight shifts, pupils widen into dark pools. These aren't quirks, they're warning flares. Their nervous system is screaming, enough, stop now. But because they love you, they don't always bite or bark. They just absorb it, building what scientists call a stress debt that collects day after day. And one day, it bursts in growls, in hiding in sickness you never saw coming. Here's the secret: when you respect that signal, when you pause the second you see it, something profound happens inside your dog's brain. Instead of bracing for pain, their body releases GABA, a calming chemical that reinforces trust. You've just proven you're safe, not because you kept touching, but because you stopped. In that moment, their heart whispers this, human listens. And here's the FOMO part. Most dogs spend their whole lives with owners who never give them that gift. A love that respects limits is the rarest love of all. Ignore it, and you quietly teach your dog the world even you is unsafe. Honor it, and you rewrite their map of safety forever. But if stopping at the right moment can reshape trust, what about the moments when you actually leave them behind? That's the next act of love, one that could decide whether your dog spends hours in peace or in silent panic. Number 5. How you leave changes everything. There's a moment every dog dreads, and you probably don't even notice it. It starts long before the door closes. The jingle of your keys, the shuffle of shoes on the floor, the zip of a bag. To you, it's just routine. To your dog, it's thunder rolling in the storm they can't escape. Their heart races, pupils widen, and a flood of stress hormones courses through their body. They know what's coming. You're leaving. And with every departure, the same silent fear returns. What if you don't come back? Here's the cruel twist most owners make it worse. Some ignore their dog completely slipping out, as if vanishing will soften the blow. Others kneel down, smothering them with long emotional goodbyes that only magnify the panic. Both paths carve scars into a dog's nervous system. The goodbye becomes a wound that never heals. But it doesn't have to be this way. Behaviorists have uncovered a simple truth. What your dog needs isn't your silence, and it isn't your tears. They need a ritual, a signal written into their memory that whispers, "I will return." A single phrase, spoken the same way a treat, placed in the same spot a toy, that only appears when you leave. These little patterns are anchors holding them steady while you're gone. Dogs with this ritual wait. Calmer eat. Normally rest easier. Their world doesn't collapse because you've given them something to trust. And here's where the FOMO cuts deep. Without this ritual, many dogs spend their hours in a state of hypervigilance, waiting at the door, trembling inside their immune system, quietly breaking down from the strain. All because no one told them in a way they could understand. You'll be okay until I'm back. If leaving can wound or heal, what about the times your dog is already hurting? The next act of love isn't about departure. It's about presence. A silent vigil, the kind they crave most when illness steals their strength. Number 6. The silent vigil dogs need. When sick, when your dog falls ill, most owners rush for medicine, vet visits, the checklist of care. And yes, those things matter. But there's something deeper, something quieter, that a sick dog aches for, and it isn't pills or food. It's you. Not your hands fussing over them, not your constant voice asking if they're okay, but your silent presence, steady as a lighthouse in the storm. Dogs descend from pack animals who knew that an injured member was most vulnerable. In the wild, a sick wolf would lie close enough to be seen, but far enough not to burden the group. That ancient memory still beats inside your dog. When sickness comes, they don't want isolation, and they don't want smothering. What they crave is a quiet vigil, you sitting nearby, reading, scrolling your phone, simply breathing in the same space. To them, your stillness is medicine. Here's the science that makes it even more powerful. Studies show that when dogs rest near their bonded human during illness, their bodies release immunoglobulin, an antibody that boosts healing. White blood cells stabilize appetite returns sooner, and stress markers shrink. Your presence literally rewires their recovery. Without it, the loneliness of sickness gnaws at them, stretching out the days, carving doubt into their heart. And here's the fear you can't ignore. Your dog will only face true illness a handful of times in their short life. Each one becomes a memory etched into their limbic system, a story they carry until the end. Were you there quiet and steady? Or were they left in the shadow of an empty room, waiting for comfort that never came? Because if illness is about being seen, then their final chapter is about being heard. And that leads us to the last, most sacred act of love. Words spoken at the edge of goodbye, the ones your dog waits a lifetime to hear. Number 7. The final words. They wait a lifetime to hear. Every dog knows when the clock is running out. Long before you admit it, they feel the heaviness in their body, the slowing of their steps, the dimming of their eyes. Instinct tells them to hide the weakness. It's a survival script, etched into their blood. But in the safety of your home, that instinct becomes a quiet torment. They want to let go, but they keep holding on, waiting for something only you can give permission. Here's the part most owners never realize. In their final days, your dog isn't just asking for care. They're listening for words. Simple words, but sacred ones. When you lean close and whisper, "You've been so good, you are loved. It's okay to rest now." You're lifting a weight they've carried in silence. Their breathing steadies, cortisol falls, the tightness in their body eases. Even as their time grows short, peace replaces fear. Think about it. Your voice has been the soundtrack of their entire life, the first sound they wagged their tail to the call that brought them running through rain, the laugh that made them leap higher. How could it not also be the voice that carries them across the last threshold? Without those words, they may cling on, anxious, restless, unsure if leaving will break your heart. With them, they finally understand, we're okay, even if I go first. And here's the FOMO you can't ignore. Your dog will only die once. That last memory, that last moment will be etched into their mind until their final breath. Will it be confusion, or comfort silence, or love spoken out loud? The choice is yours. Because when all 7 acts weave together, they form something unbreakable. Not just a bond, but a legacy. And the question that remains is simple. Are you giving your dog the love they'll carry with them for life? When you look back, it's never the toys or the treats that define your bond. It's these 7 quiet acts of love. The touch on their cheek that rewrites their trust. The words that fill their world. The dawn ritual that anchors their day. The respect of boundaries. The promise you'll return the silent vigil in sickness. And the final words that let them go in peace. Each one is a thread, and together they weave the story your dog will carry until their last heartbeat. Most owners never realize how much power they hold in these tiny moments. Don't let that be you. Give your dog the love they've been waiting for every day you're lucky enough to have them. And if these truths touched you, subscribe now, because the next story might be the one that changes how you love your dog forever. You collapse on the couch after a hard day, and suddenly a warm head presses on your chest. No words, no demands, just your dog saying, "I'm here for you." Moments like this aren't random. Science shows that dogs release oxytocin, the love hormone, when they're near their favorite person. To them, you're not just an owner. You are their chosen human. In this video, I'll reveal 10 clear signs that prove your dog sees you as their world. And when you reach number 7, you'll finally know if you are truly the one. So, let's begin. Sign 1. Head on your chest. Have you ever come home so drained you just collapse on the couch, staring at the ceiling, wondering how you'll even get up again? And then, without a sound, you feel a gentle weight settle on your chest. It's not heavy. It's not demanding. It's your dog's head resting there, as if to whisper, "I see you. I feel you. And I'm not leaving." That single gesture may look small, but it carries the weight of a lifetime bond. Scientists have found that dogs can detect stress hormones like cortisol in your sweat, and even subtle changes in your heartbeat. It's almost like they have a built-in radar for your pain. While people might ask questions, analyze, or even step away, your dog answers in the only language it knows: presence. Pure, silent presence. And here's the part that still surprises researchers: when your dog lays its head on you, both your bodies release oxytocin, the same hormone that bonds a newborn baby with its mother. Think about that for a moment. What you feel in that instant isn't just comfort. It's biology, chemistry, and love woven into one quiet miracle. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many times did you think your dog was just lying around, when in reality it was performing the most powerful act of empathy? And if this is only the first sign, imagine what deeper secrets wait ahead. Because the next one isn't about silence, it's about joy, so explosive it can shake the walls of your home. Sign 2, love storm at the door. You barely turn the key in the lock, and before the door is even open, it begins. A storm, pure joy crashing against the walls, paws scratching the floor, a tail whipping like a metronome out of control. Your dog doesn't wait politely. It erupts. And here's the truth, that chaos isn't just excitement. It's love in its rawest form. Scientists at Azabu University in Japan discovered something extraordinary. When dogs reunite with their favorite person, their oxytocin levels spike, just like in human lovers gazing into each other's eyes. In fact, the more you greet your dog with touch and eye contact, the higher both of your oxytocin rises, creating a feedback loop of joy. Think about that. Your return home literally floods your dog's body with the chemistry of love. It's no wonder the whole body shakes. Every bark, every jump, every frantic spin in circles is the canine version of shouting, "My world is whole again." And maybe you've noticed your dog doesn't celebrate like this with anyone else. Friends might get a wag, strangers might get curiosity. But you get the storm, the love storm. And here's the part that keeps you hooked. What does this storm mean when it settles? Because hidden inside that joy is a deeper truth. If reunion brings chaos, then peace must bring something even more profound. In the next sign, we'll step away from the noise and into the quiet, where a single gaze from your dog can silence the loudest day. Sign 3, eyes that calm. Have you ever felt your whole world slow down? Just because your dog looked at you. Not the playful glance, not the curious stare, but that deep, still gaze like time itself has taken a breath. In that moment, it's as if your dog is saying, "You're safe. You're my home." Scientists at Emory University used brain scans to study this exact connection. They found that when a dog sees its favorite person, the reward centers in the brain light up the same regions that activate in humans when we look at someone we deeply love. And Japanese researchers showed that mutual eye contact between dogs and humans triggers a surge of oxytocin, binding the two species together in a loop of trust. What looks like just staring is actually biology weaving an invisible thread between two hearts. Think about it: in the wild wolves reserve eye contact for those they trust with their lives. For your dog to gaze softly into your eyes is the canine equivalent of saying, "I belong to you, and I believe in you completely." No speech, no grand gesture, just a wordless confession that cuts deeper than language ever could. And here's the question that lingers: if a single look can calm your storm, what does it mean when your dog chooses not just to watch you, but to sleep pressed against you night after night? Because the next sign isn't about eyes, it's about trust. So complete, your dog gives you the one thing it never risks in the wild, its sleep. Sign 4. Sleeping beside you. The lights go out, the house falls silent, and you sink into bed, hoping for rest. And then, almost like clockwork, there's a familiar warmth pressing against your back. No invitation. No command. Your dog curls up beside you, not because it's the softest spot, but because it's the safest. Researchers at Canisius College studied over 1,000 dog owners and found that people who slept with their dogs reported feeling more secure, more comforted, and less lonely. But here's the deeper truth: animals in the wild never let their guard down during sleep unless they are surrounded by absolute trust. By choosing to fall asleep against you, your dog is placing its most vulnerable state into your hands. That's not habit. That's surrender. Think of it as a silent contract. In that moment, your dog is saying, "If danger comes, I believe you'll protect me. And while I sleep, I'll protect you too." Two bodies breathing in rhythm like a duet of loyalty that plays through the night. Even your heartbeats begin to sync. Science has shown that when dogs and owners rest close, their physiological patterns often mirror one another. It's not just comfort, it's connection carved into biology. And yet, as powerful as this quiet loyalty feels, there's another moment even more striking. Because what happens when silence is broken, when a stranger steps too close, or a voice sharpens in the distance? That's when your dog's love transforms from soft warmth into something fierce, unshakable. The next sign will show you how love becomes a shield. Sign 5. Protective instinct. You're walking down the street, lost in thought, when suddenly your dog shifts. Ears perk up, eyes sharpen. The body leans slightly forward, and before you even notice the stranger coming too close, your dog has already stepped in front of you like a living shield. No words, no training cue, just instinct. Pure, unfiltered devotion. Science backs this up. A 2017 study from the University of Helsinki found that dogs are highly attuned to human emotional cues, detecting subtle changes in facial expression and tone of voice faster than most people realize. Another experiment showed that even calm family dogs will go on high alert if they sense their owner might be threatened. To them, your safety isn't optional, it's priority. Think of it this way: in a world full of uncertainty, your dog becomes the silent bodyguard you never hired. That one step forward, that low growl, is the canine way of saying, "Don't worry, I've got you." And isn't it remarkable? They're not the biggest or the strongest compared to the dangers of the world, yet they choose to stand in front, to face what you might fear, armed only with loyalty. But here's where the story deepens. If your dog will fight to protect you in moments of danger, how do they show love in moments of peace? Because when the threat fades and the house grows quiet again, another instinct takes over, not sharp, not defensive, but tender. And in the next sign, that tenderness appears in the simplest form: a wet kiss, a gentle nibble, a ritual of love that began when they were only puppies. Sign 6. Kisses and gentle bites. You sit quietly, maybe scrolling through your phone, when suddenly a wet nose nudges your hand, followed by that unmistakable lick. A sloppy kiss right on your skin. Some people laugh, some wrinkle their nose, but to your dog, this isn't random. It's a ritual older than memory itself. Biologists note that, from the very first days of life, puppies lick their mother's face to bond, to seek care, and to express trust. As adults, that behavior doesn't disappear, it transforms. A 2014 study in behavioral processes found that dogs often lick their humans not only to taste, but to calm themselves and comfort their person. It's affection and therapy wrapped into one simple gesture. And then, sometimes, comes the gentle nibble. Not hard enough to hurt, just enough to say, "I trust you. I want to play with you the way I did with my litter mates." In the wild, puppies learn bite inhibition. If they bite too hard, their sibling yelps, and play stops. So when your dog softly takes your hand in its mouth, it's not testing dominance. It's practicing the language of family. A love bite written without words. Strange, isn't it, how something so small, even messy, carries echoes of evolution, science, and devotion. And if licking is about bonding and nibbling is about trust, then what about forgiveness? Because the next sign isn't about what your dog does when they're close, it's about what they do after you've failed them. And the truth about how fast they forgive might put us humans to shame. Sign 7. Instant forgiveness. You slam the door after a long day, your voice sharper than you intended. Maybe you forgot their dinner time. Maybe you left them waiting in silence for hours. For a moment, guilt hangs heavy in the air. And yet the second you return there, it is tail-wagging eyes, glowing body rushing toward you as if nothing ever happened. No grudge, no hesitation, just love, pure and unconditional. Psychologists call this trait temporal discounting. Humans hold on to slights, replaying them like broken records. Dogs don't. A 2013 study published in Animal Cognition found that dogs remember negative events far less persistently than humans. Instead of clinging to the past, they reset the moment you walk through the door. To them, your presence now outweighs any absence before. Think of it. While we build walls, they open doors. While we store bitterness, they wag joy. Forgiveness for a dog isn't a moral choice. It's survival. It's love. It's the instinct to keep the bond alive at all costs. In their world, the only timeline that matters is now. And in that now, you are home. But here's the haunting question. If a dog can forgive in seconds, what else do they give us without asking for anything back? Because some dogs don't just wait at the door. They wait everywhere, kitchen, hallway, even the bathroom, shadowing you step by step. And the next sign reveals why that quiet shadow might be the most beautiful confession of all. Sign 8. Shadowing you everywhere. You stand up to grab a glass of water, and suddenly, there it is. 4 paws padding softly behind you. Into the kitchen, down the hallway, even to the bathroom door. No command, no treat, waiting, just that silent shadow glued to your every step. Some people laugh, calling it clingy. But to your dog, it's devotion, pure and unfiltered. Ethologists explain this as the pack instinct. In the wild, wolves never stray far from the leader. Following close means survival, safety, belonging. A 2015 study in applied animal behavior science showed that dogs who shadow their humans most closely also displayed the strongest signs of secure attachment, similar to the way a child clings to a parent. It's not curiosity, it's comfort. You are the center of gravity in their small universe. Think about it. When you're happy, they bounce at your side. When you're sad, they slow their pace, lying near in silence. This is called emotional mirroring, and neuroscientists have found that dogs can synchronize their stress levels with their owners through something as subtle as body posture and breathing. What you feel, they feel. Your shadow isn't just following you, it's reflecting you. But here's the twist. If your dog can shadow your every move in life, what happens when the roles reverse? When they're the ones reaching out, not with steps, but with a simple gesture? Because the next sign isn't about following your body. It's about touching your soul with nothing more than the quiet weight of a paw placed gently on your hand. Sign 9. The healing paw. You're sitting there, lost in thought, your mind heavy with things you can't put into words. And then you feel it. A paw, soft and deliberate, resting on your hand. No training, no command. Just a quiet reach, as if your dog is saying, I see your pain, and I'm here to carry a piece of it with you. Psychologists call this behavior emotional contagion. In 2012, researchers at Goldsmiths University of London found that dogs were more likely to approach and gently touch a crying human, even if that person was a stranger, than someone who was humming or speaking normally. That touch isn't random. It's targeted, intentional, and born out of empathy. Think of it as medicine without prescription. Studies have shown that petting a dog lowers blood pressure, slows heart rate, and reduces cortisol, the stress hormone in both human and canine bodies. So, when your dog presses that paw onto your skin, it's more than comfort. It's biology intervening, turning pain into calm anxiety, into breath chaos, into stillness. And maybe you've noticed it's often paired with those eyes that melt you, the gaze that says what words cannot. The paw is the bridge, the connection, the grounding cord tying your storm to their steady heart. For us, it feels like magic. For them, it's instinct. But here's the question that lingers: if a paw can heal what happens when love becomes so deep that absence itself steals their appetite. Because the next sign will reveal a silent sacrifice that shocks even experienced dog owners, and it may break your heart. Sign 10. The silent sacrifice. The bowl sits untouched. The food is there fresh and waiting, but your dog walks past it as if hunger has been erased. Hours turn into a day, maybe two, and you realize it isn't sickness. It isn't stubbornness. It's absence. Your absence. Veterinary behaviorists have studied this phenomenon and call it a symptom of separation-related distress. A 2019 paper in Frontiers in Veterinary Science reported that some dogs show measurable drops in appetite when their bonded human is away. Their bodies literally refuse nourishment, as if survival without you is incomplete. That silence at the food bowl is a love letter written in sacrifice. Think about the weight of that. While we humans scroll through messages or distract ourselves when someone we love is gone, your dog fasts in devotion. It's not logical, it's not healthy, but it is love raw and unfiltered. In their mind, if you're missing, the world is off balance and the body follows the heart. And here's the hidden beauty: the moment you return, appetite blooms again. The tail wags, the eyes sparkle, and the bowl empties as if nothing ever happened. Not because the food changed, but because you did. You are the ingredient they were waiting for. But don't think this is the final secret. Because beyond skipped meals, beyond wagging tails and healing paws, lies the most profound truth of all, that a dog's love is not loud, not fleeting, but eternal. And in the conclusion, you'll see how all these signs weave into one message: you are not just their owner. You are their world. And now you've seen them, the 10 signs, each one, a silent confession of love that words could never capture. From the gentle head on your chest, to the storm at the door, from the healing paw, to the sacrifice of skipping meals. These are not just habits. They are vows written in fur and heartbeat, spoken in a language only love can understand. So let me ask you, how many of these signs has your dog shown you? 1, 5. Maybe all 10. Every little gesture is your dog's way of saying, you are my world. If today's journey made you look at your four-legged friend a little differently, if it reminded you how lucky we are to be chosen by them, then don't let it end here. Subscribe now and join me every week as we uncover more stories, more truths, and more reasons to love the ones who love us without condition. Because to your dog, you're not just a person, you're everything. 99% of dog owners are making the same feeding mistake, and most don't even know it. Every year, the ASPCA reports over 200,000 dogs get sick or poisoned because of everyday food habits. Think about it. It's not just the food you buy, it's when you feed, how you feed, even the tiny routines you repeat without thinking. And the shocking part, we've all done it. Me, you, every single owner. That's why today, I'll show you the hidden mistakes that upset your dog's stomach, raise their stress, and could even shorten their life. And trust me, when we reach mistake number 6, you'll realize it's the one you're guilty of too. So let's begin with mistake number 1, feeding your dog only once a day. Picture this. You wake up late rushing through the morning. You pour a single giant bowl of food for your dog thinking this will keep him full all day. It feels practical, maybe even loving, like giving them a feast. But what if I told you that moment that one big meal could actually be setting your dog up for discomfort, stress, and even long-term health problems? Here's the truth. A dog's stomach isn't built to handle that much food all at once. Imagine stuffing your backpack until the zipper almost bursts. That's exactly what happens inside their belly. Studies from the American Veterinary Medical Association show that dogs who eat just once a day have a higher risk of digestive issues, acid reflux, and even behavioral stress. Their stomachs are overwhelmed for hours working overtime to break down a mountain of food. And then, for the rest of the day, they run on empty acid, building up their bodies, craving balance that never comes. It's a bit like leaving a car running with no gas in the tank. You wouldn't expect the engine to work smoothly, would you? Dogs are no different. Some develop hunger pangs so sharp they lick floors or chew furniture. Others grow restless, pacing as if their body is screaming, "Feed me, but feed me right." And yet, so many owners don't see the signs. They mistake it for bad behavior, never realizing it's simply biology fighting back. Researchers at the University of Liverpool tracked feeding patterns and found that splitting meals into 2 morning and evening not only improved digestion, but also kept energy levels steady throughout the day. Dogs in the study were calmer, less anxious, and showed healthier weight control compared to single meal eaters. Think of it like giving your dog 2 small fires instead of 1 big blaze. The warmth lasts longer, the flame burns steadier, and nothing goes to waste. So the next time you reach for that bowl, remember your dog doesn't need a feast once a day. They need rhythm, balance, a steady flow of fuel, not a flood followed by drought. It's such a simple shift, yet it changes everything better. Digestion, more stable moods, and yes, even a longer, healthier life. And if that makes you pause, wait until you hear the second mistake. Because this one isn't about how much food you give, but the way you give it. Mistake number 2, always feeding your dog from a bowl. Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you watched your dog eat? You probably filled their bowl, set it on the floor, and in just a few minutes gone. Clean? Empty? It feels efficient, right? But here's the hidden danger by making food too easy. We've stripped away something vital from their life. Dogs weren't born to eat from bowls. Their ancestors spent hours tracking prey, sniffing trails and solving nature's puzzles just to find a meal. That struggle wasn't cruel. It was stimulation. It kept their brains sharp, their bodies engaged, and their instincts alive. When we replace that challenge with a shiny bowl on the kitchen floor, we might fill their stomach, but we starve their mind. Scientists at the University of Bristol studied canine enrichment and found that dogs given puzzle feeders or scent-based feeding mats showed lower cortisol levels, less destructive behavior, and greater overall happiness. In plain words, they were calmer, smarter, and less bored. Compare that to bowl-fed dogs who often become restless anxious or mischievous, chewing shoes, barking nonstop, or digging at the carpet. Not because they're bad dogs, but because they're understimulated. Think of it this way. Imagine giving a child a tablet that plays cartoons all day. No books, no games, no interaction. They'd be quiet, yes, but they'd also miss out on growth. That's what a plain bowl does to your dog. It feeds them, but it doesn't fulfill them. The good news? The solution isn't complicated. Swap the bowl for a puzzle toy like a Kong wobbler. Scatter kibble across a sniff mat. Even roll food up in an old towel so they have to nudge and unwrap it. These simple changes turn mealtime into a hunt, a challenge, an adventure. Researchers call this foraging enrichment, and it taps directly into the ancient part of your dog's brain that craves work before reward. So yes, a bowl is quick, but quick isn't always kind. A meal that lasts 3 minutes in a bowl could last 15 minutes with a puzzle 15 minutes of focused joy and mental peace. And if you think boredom is bad, wait until we talk about what happens when you feed your dog too much. Because the next mistake doesn't just affect their mood, it can steal years from their life. Mistake number 3. Overfeeding your dog. You know that look. Your dog gives you the wide eyes, the tilted head, the gentle paw on your leg. It's almost impossible to resist. You scoop a little extra kibble into the bowl. You slip a piece of chicken under the table. You tell yourself, just this once. But here's the hard truth. Those tiny extras add up, like drops of water filling a bucket. Before long, the bucket overflows. And in dogs, that overflow is called obesity. The numbers are sobering. According to the Association for Pet Obesity Prevention, more than 55% of dogs in the United States are overweight or obese. That means over half of our beloved companions carry extra pounds that quietly steal their energy, their comfort, and eventually years of their life. And yet, most owners don't even notice. To us, a chubby dog looks cute, like a teddy bear. But inside the story is darker. Excess weight presses down on their joints, grinding bone against bone. It pushes against their lungs, making every breath heavier. It strains the heart, forcing it to beat harder, just to keep up. Veterinary studies show obese dogs are more likely to suffer arthritis, diabetes, and heart disease, and their lifespan can be shortened by as much as 2.5 years. Imagine losing 2 years of walks, games, and quiet nights together, all because of a few harmless snacks. Think of your dog's body like a backpack they must carry everywhere. When they're at a healthy weight, the backpack is snug, light, and easy to bear. But each extra treat is like slipping a stone into that bag. At first, they don't seem to notice. But day after day, stone after stone, the weight becomes crushing. And unlike us, they can't take the backpack off. So, what's the solution? Precision. Measure their meals instead of guessing. Read the feeding guidelines on the bag, then adjust for their treats. If you give them training snacks, subtract that amount from dinner. It's a balance sheet of calories, and every entry counts. Researchers at Purina even ran a lifetime study and discovered that dogs fed 25% fewer calories than their litter mates lived nearly 2 years longer, healthier, happier years. The temptation to overfeed will never disappear. But love isn't found in extra food. Love is in giving them a body that feels light, strong, and pain-free. And if you think too much food is dangerous, wait until you hear what happens when you feed at the wrong time. Because the next mistake could flip your dog's stomach upside down, literally. Mistake number 4. Feeding your dog before a walk. Picture this: your dog finishes a big meal, tail wagging, licking the last crumbs from the bowl. He looks up at you, full of energy, and you think, perfect time for a walk. The leash goes on, the door opens, and off you go. never realizing you may have just set the stage for one of the most dangerous conditions a dog can face. Here's the science. When a dog eats, blood rushes to the stomach to power digestion. Muscles rest, organs focus. The whole system turns inward. But the moment you clip that leash and start moving, you pull that blood away from the stomach toward the muscles. It's like forcing a construction crew to abandon a building halfway through. The work is left unfinished and worse chaos begins. Veterinarians call it gastric dilatation volvulus, or GDV. Most owners know it by another name, bloat. In simple words, the stomach swells with food and gas, then twists like a wet towel being wrung tight. The result is catastrophic, intense pain, vomiting, and without emergency surgery, death. According to research from Purdue University, dogs who exercise too soon after eating have a dramatically higher risk of developing bloat, especially large, deep-chested breeds like German Shepherds, Great Danes, or Labradors. But make no mistake, any dog can be vulnerable. Imagine blowing up a balloon, then tying it in a knot and shaking it violently. That's what happens inside their body. The stomach expands, blood flow cuts off, and organs scream for oxygen. And the cruel twist owners often don't recognize the signs until it's too late. What began as a joyful walk turns into a desperate race to the vet. But there's hope, and it's simple. Flip the routine. Walk first, feed after. Give their stomach space to digest without interruption. Experts recommend at least 30 minutes of rest before or after meals and up to 2 hours for heavy exercise. Think of it like cooling an engine before pouring in fuel. The sequence matters, and getting it wrong can cost everything. So the next time you reach for the leash, after dinner, pause. Breathe. Let your dog's body do its quiet work. Because a safe meal followed by a calm walk is a rhythm that protects not just their stomach, but their life. And if timing feels tricky, wait until we talk about the food itself. Because the next mistake isn't about when you feed, but what you're actually putting inside the bowl. Mistake number 5, ignoring the ingredients in your dog's food. Walk down any pet store aisle, and you'll see bags stacked like colorful walls. Labels shout premium healthy, all natural. The packaging feels trustworthy, almost like grocery ads for humans. You toss a bag into the cart, believing the brand's promise. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Not all food is created equal, and the wrong ingredients can quietly poison your dog's health. Veterinarians often compare some commercial dog foods to fast food for humans. It fills the belly, but at what cost? A study published in the Journal of Animal Physiology and Animal Nutrition revealed that many low-grade foods rely heavily on fillers, cheap carbohydrates, like corn, soy, or wheat. These ingredients bulk up the bag but offer little nutrition. Imagine fueling a race car with sugar water. The tank looks full, but the engine sputters. That's your dog's body on poor-quality kibble. Then there's the meat. Flip the bag over. Do you see words like meat byproduct or animal meal? That's a red flag. These terms often hide what's left behind after real cuts are removed. Feathers, beaks, even bone dust. Researchers at Tufts University warn that these byproducts can lack the essential amino acids dogs need for muscle repair, heart health, and a strong immune system. A dog fed on this leftover stew may look fine today, but will pay the price tomorrow. And don't overlook preservatives. Chemicals like BHA, BHT, or ethoxyquin have been linked to cancer and organ damage in long-term studies. Contrast that with natural preservatives like rosemary extract or vitamin E, which protect freshness without hurting the body. The difference is the gap between a ticking time bomb and real safety. The best foods tell you exactly what you're feeding. Real chicken, turkey, salmon, brown rice, sweet potatoes, blueberries. Each word reads like a grocery list you'd trust for yourself. And science backs it up. Research shows dogs on diets rich in high-quality protein and antioxidants live longer with fewer illnesses and brighter energy. So the next time you grab that shiny bag, pause. Turn it over. Read the fine print. Because behind the promises, the truth hides in the ingredients list. And if this makes you uneasy, it should, because the next mistake has nothing to do with the bag itself, but with your dog's age. And feeding the wrong food at the wrong stage of life can quietly steal their strength before you even notice. Mistake number 6. Not adjusting food for your dog's age. Think back to when your dog was just a puppy. Tiny paws, clumsy steps, teeth sharper than they should be. Back then, you probably laughed at how quickly they grew, almost as if you could see it happening day by day. But here's the part many owners miss: the food that fuels a puppy should never be the same food that sustains an adult or comforts a senior. Yet countless dogs are fed the same kibble year after year as if age doesn't matter. It does, more than you think. Puppies are like little engines running at full throttle. Their bodies demand higher protein, more fat, and precise minerals like calcium and phosphorus to build bones strong enough to carry them through life. A study in the Journal of Veterinary Nutrition found that puppies fed adult food too early risked skeletal deformities and growth issues. Imagine building a skyscraper with weak steel beams. It might rise fast, but it won't stand strong. That's the danger of feeding them wrong at the start. Now picture the other end of the leash, your senior dog. The muzzle graying, the pace slower, the naps longer. Their needs have changed too. They no longer burn energy like wildfire. Instead, they fight subtle battles against arthritis, heart strain, and weight gain. Older dogs need fewer calories but richer nutrients, antioxidants to fight aging cells, glucosamine for joints, and easily digestible proteins that keep muscle from fading away. Research from the University of Guelph shows senior dogs on age-appropriate diets maintain sharper cognition and healthier mobility compared to those stuck on generic adult kibble. Feeding without age in mind is like dressing a child in their baby clothes or handing a cane to a teenager. It doesn't fit. It doesn't serve. It quietly harms. Your dog's age is a map, and their diet must follow its path. So don't let habit blind you. Watch the candles on the birthday cake. Read the bag carefully. Choose puppy food for the young adult, formulas for the strong years, and senior blends for the wise ones. Because feeding them right at the right stage isn't just nutrition, it's respect for the body they carry through life. And if you think age is complicated, wait until you hear the last mistake, because this one flips everything upside down. The food you could be making at home, fresh and natural, might be the very thing your dog has been waiting for all along. Mistake number 7. Not considering homemade food. Walk into your kitchen and picture this fresh chicken sizzling in the pan, sweet potatoes, steaming blueberries glistening in a bowl. Now imagine sliding that plate down to the floor for your dog. Their nose twitches, tail thumps, eyes widen. It feels natural, doesn't it? Yet most of us never consider homemade meals for our dogs, believing that kibble is the only safe option. But here's the twist done right. Homemade food can be one of the healthiest gifts you'll ever give. Commercial food is convenient. Yes, but it's also manufactured, preserved, and processed to sit on shelves for months. A study in the Journal of Animal Science found that heat processing in kibble destroys delicate vitamins, reduces protein quality, and alters fats in ways that can stress a dog's system over time. It's like comparing a microwaved dinner to a fresh garden salad. Both fill your stomach, but one nourishes your body in ways the other never can. Homemade food, when balanced, gives you control. You decide the protein: chicken, turkey, salmon. You choose the carbs: brown rice, oats, or sweet potato. You add vegetables like carrots or spinach packed with antioxidants. Researchers at Purdue University even found that dogs who ate vegetables at least 3 times a week had a lower risk of developing certain cancers. That's not hype, that's science hidden in your fridge. Of course there's a catch. Homemade food isn't just scraps from your plate. Dogs aren't little humans. Their bodies crave a different recipe. Too much fat can inflame the pancreas. Too little calcium can weaken bones. That's why veterinary nutritionists urge balance: roughly 40% protein, 50% vegetables and carbs, 10% healthy fats, plus key supplements like calcium and omega-3s. It's not complicated once you know the formula, but skipping it can turn good intentions into silent harm. Think of homemade meals as tailoring a suit. Off-the-rack kibble might fit okay, but a suit made for your dog's body, age, weight, activity level fits perfectly. It protects, supports, and lasts. So next time you cook, ask yourself, what if a portion could become your dog's dinner? What if the path to fewer preservatives, brighter eyes, shinier coats, and longer years is already in your kitchen? Because when it comes to food, the biggest mistake isn't what you're feeding. It's believing that change is too hard, when in truth, the first step might be as simple as opening your fridge. So now you see it: 7 simple mistakes hidden in plain sight that so many of us make without knowing. A single meal too large. A bowl that steals their curiosity. An extra scoop that weighs down their body. The wrong time, the wrong ingredients, the wrong food for their age, and the forgotten gift of fresh homemade care. Each one may feel small, but together they shape the life your dog lives: the comfort of their stomach, the strength of their body, the joy in their eyes. Dogs don't ask for much, just food, love, and time. And how we feed them is more than a routine, it's a message. Every meal whispers either "I see you," "I care for you," or "I didn't notice." I don't want you to look back one day and realize that the little things we ignored became the reason we lost time with them. Because time with our dogs is the most precious thing we'll ever have. And if these changes can give them even one more year at our side, one more walk, one more game of fetch, one more night with their head resting on your knee, then isn't it worth it? So promise me this tomorrow: you'll feed with new eyes, with intention, with love, disguised as science. Because when you do, your dog doesn't just eat. They thrive. And if you felt something today, if you learned one thing that could change your dog's life, don't let it end here. Hit subscribe, join our family, and let's keep discovering the hidden truths our dogs have been waiting for us to see. Together, we can give them the life they deserve.